Welcome to Pam's Raw Kitchen. Today I have a special guest with me. She's got some special recipes. She has made some wonderful cookbooks. You know, I keep wanting to say cookbooks, but they're not. They're raw, they're uncooked books. And I want you to get a pen and paper because I want you to write down her website, her information. You're going to want to copy down her recipes. You're actually going to probably want to order some of her cookbooks, and you're for sure going to want to get on her website. So today, Haley Turney is with me. Haley?
Thank you, Pam, for having me today. I'm excited. This is my first television debut. It should be fun. We're going to be making lots of good foods, easy, simple, fast, and inexpensive.
That's why I like this lady. She is like me, easy, fast, simple, and not a lot of equipment, although I see that she brought a couple of interesting items with her.
Yes, I'm going to be doing a few new things for Pam and her audience. We're going to be using a Vitamix and a spiralizer, and we're going to be doing fairly simple recipes that anyone can do. In fact, my 5-year-old daughter might even come up and help demonstrate.
Wow.
We shall see.
That's great.
All right, so today we're going to be making some pasta. Of course, we don't use any wheat or grain pasta. I'm going to be using zucchini, which is fun. We're going to be using a new instrument today. It's called a spiralizer. There are several different types of spiralizers to use. This one is what I like to call the upgraded version. I started off with a little small one that you spiralize down into a container. I like that one because it usually makes angel hair pasta very thin, easy to eat, not too crunchy. It's also cheaper. It usually runs between $15 and $25, and this one's more like $35 to $45 depending on where you get it. I have looked everywhere for spiralizers. They do not have them in the Valley. You're going to have to go online to get them.
See, that was what I was hoping you were going to be able to say. You could just go here and get them, and okay.
Yeah.
Online again.
Sorry. So this one, I think I paid $40 for, and it was shipped right to my door, which was kind of nice. And I like it because it has 3 blades. It has this blade, which is little itty bitty spaghetti, and then you also have 2 blades up here. This one's larger spaghetti, and a slicing blade. This is good for almost anything. But the fun thing about the slicing blade is that it makes slices, but they're all attached. So it's one long string of slices. Lots of fun for curly fries or for apple slices, anything along those lines. Okay.
Now, Haley, let's say our audience really, really likes your recipe, but they don't have one of these yet. What are they going to do?
Well, actually, let me demonstrate that first. So say you don't have a spiralizer and you don't want to spend any money or go online and look for it and you just want to be able to do this in your home. I'm a big, big supporter of let's start with what you have. If you have a knife and a peeler, that's all you need. This is fantastic. It makes it easy, fun, and my daughter can do this while I'm making the sauce and our dinner is ready in 5 minutes. But if you want to do it the hard way, I'm just kidding. If you want to do it the easy, simple way is to get your knife and you're going to make some lines down your zucchini like so, depending on how long or how fat you want your noodles. So if you take a look, I made these wonderful big flat cuts. You don't want to cut all the way through, and then you're going to take your peeler and simply, now you have fettuccine noodles.
Spaghetti, almost.
So now you have little itty bitty fun little noodles. And of course this takes a little bit longer because you have to go through the whole thing. But you know, if you put somebody to work, say a spouse or something like that, then you know, it's done really quickly. So we've got these long thin noodles, and I'll do it a few more times. That's it. It's all that simple. I like these when I'm actually making fettuccine Alfredo. I like to do it this way because then you have fettuccine noodles. It's kind of nice.
Very good.
So that is the low-tech version of making zucchini noodles.
Now we're going to try the fun machine.
Now the spiralizer I enjoy. It's not a very expensive appliance, so it wasn't that big of a purchase for me. $15 for the small one until I sold that one and upgraded to the big one. The fun thing about this one is that it has 4 little suction cups on the bottom, and they suction to your surface. So then it doesn't move around the counter as you're using it. Also keeps it safer if you do let your children use it. So let's start. What you're going to do is you're going to take, see there's spikes right here, and you're going to attach your zucchini to the spikes, and then you're going to bring it up. There's a little, I don't know if you can see it, you probably can't, I'm sorry. It's a little circle in the middle that usually cores things like apples and other stuff. So you're going to put it square flush, and then you're going to turn it clockwise, and you're going to push at the same time. So you're pushing and turning. It's a wonderful arm workout if you don't go to the gym for that day. So we're just going to turn, turn, turn. My daughter is eyeballing it. She loves this part.
Wow, look at this.
And you get noodles.
Noodles.
Now the fun thing is that one zucchini makes enough noodles for at least 2 people. It's very inexpensive. Now the
What are you going to do with this?
Usually with the core, I just dice it up and put it into the whatever sauce
Salad.
I'm making,
Oh, good.
or you just layer it on top,
Or juice it.
or whatever you want to do with it.
But you don't throw it away.
No, you can use it. It's
Good,
part of the
good.
wonderful meal.
Good,
All right.
good.
So the other thing is that this kind of is one long noodle, so you have to make sure to cut it. Otherwise, you're going to be eating it, and it's just going to continue forever.
Kids can have fun with
It is a lot of fun. It's also fun to do the Lady and the Tramp things.
Oh, yeah, right.
And we'll make a few since we're going to be making, today we're going to be making 3 different sauces to go with our noodles. We're going to be making an Alfredo sauce, a Marinara sauce, and a cheese sauce, which is what I make my daughter's mac and cheese for. So,
Wonderful.
yeah. So we've got some noodles. Now there's no catch at the bottom, so make sure you have a bowl or a plate to catch your noodles as they are spiralized. It's a wonderful arm workout. Did I mention that?
So Haley, how long have you been raw?
I've been raw for coming up on 3 years in October. I went raw, and I'll give my story another time. I went raw for my health, and the Lord healed me of the need for 12 medications a day. I won't go into all of my illnesses, but I was not a very healthy cookie.
Yes, my husband's going to interview her on his program, so look for it. We're going to advertise it, but you're going to find her story very interesting. But Haley, tell the audience, what was your top weight?
Oh, I was 225 at my worst.
And so they can look at you and see that it is, you can accomplish good health and weight loss on this kind of a diet.
Huge, huge differences. And I always encourage people that if you're looking to lose weight, this is not the way to go. This is not a simple, easy fix. This is not a crash diet. I completely changed my life, which is how I was cured of my illnesses and lost some of the weight. This is not a way. I did this for my health. And the fact that I don't have to worry about my weight any longer is a perk. It's a bonus.
So how much do you get to eat a day?
As much as I want.
As often as you want?
As often as I want. In fact, let's see, almost every morning I have ice cream for breakfast.
Oh, I know. I heard that last night, and I'm
that's
going, woohoo!
And there are days when I have dessert for every meal. Because
now,
it's...
They're not going to go to the store and buy cartons of ice cream.
No, no, no. Okay, so all of my food is raw vegan. So it's all fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, oils, and spices, but it's not salads at every meal.
But this is something they can learn from you, from your cookbooks, and from her website. So please go to Living Raw by Grace.
.com.
And her name is not Grace, it's Haley.
It's Haley.
Living Raw by Grace is her website.
Yeah, it's a common misconception.
I know.
People call me Grace all the time. That's okay. It's a nice name. No, it's only by the grace of God that I can eat this instead of my friend's lasagna that looks really good and smells fantastic. But I know that this will keep me healthy and provide life to my body.
But your friends who are eating the other lasagna
Want to
yours.
eat my food.
I know.
It's not fair. Eat your own. I made this. No, I share all the time. In fact, it's almost hard not to.
Right.
Because everyone around you is not well. Everyone is sick.
But
Everyone
yours
is having problems.
Smells better.
Well, yeah, that too.
Probably tastes better.
Yeah, the Alfredo sauce we're gonna make is awesome. It's 4 ingredients, literally 4 ingredients, and you're done. And it, everyone will walk into the room because it smells so fantastic.
Good.
So that is
There's our noodles.
That's our noodles. And technically, let me see if I can do the one that we sliced.
Well, that might come out a little different.
I'm not sure. I'm going to say probably not. Let's give it a try. I've never done this before.
An odd-shaped one.
That's a no. Good to know. All right. So the fun thing about the little suction cups is you just, ta-da, all done. And actually, at the end, I might spiralize something else to show you the versatility of the spiralizer. So this is our noodles. Here are our noodles. Woo! Make sure that you cut them. I won't mention that again. Make sure that you cut them. In fact, why don't we do it right now? I usually get some kitchen shears and just snip away.
Oh, okay.
It's a much easier thing. And the fun thing about zucchinis is that they are inexpensive. You can get zucchinis for $1 a pound or less, depending on where you go. And you can use Italian squash, which is zucchinis. You can use Mexican squash, which is calabacitas. You can use yellow squash. And then you can do other things too. You can do carrots. You can do any type of root vegetable. So
okay, say you're doing a root vegetable. What are you going to put a sauce on it, or are you going to
do the same thing? I usually, because zucchini are wonderful for pasta. They are basically white, so they mimic noodles, and they really don't have a taste. They're fairly bland, so they soak up whatever your sauce is.
Right.
But again, there's only one type of nutritional value in this. So I tend to spiralize something else, like carrots, with it, along with it, and put it in.
Okay, with
so then you get two different types of noodles. Some are really crunchy, of course, but you can use almost anything. So these are the noodles.
Now, when you do a carrot or say a beet or something, do they come out stiff and breakable, or are they kind of soft like that?
Noodles, squash are going to be softer. And in all honesty, if you want these even softer, because they're still going to be fairly crunchy when we're not used to crunchy noodles. We're used to soft, soggy, stick together kind of things. What I tend to do is one of two things. If I want to eat it within the next half an hour, I'll put it into some salt water. Water with a little bit of salt, it'll soften up and it'll become that nice ooey gooey texture.
Okay.
Or I'll put it with the sauce that I'm going to have overnight. And in the morning, it's nice and squishy and it's soaked up all the flavor from the sauce.
Oh, okay. Very good.
And then you can just leave it out on the counter for like an hour and it's room temperature and you can enjoy it.
Very good.
So that's our noodles.
So, let's make our sauce.
Let's make some sauce.
Yes.
All right. And here are our noodles. So while the Vitamix is my personal favorite, there are many different types of blenders out in the market that you can invest in that aren't as expensive. So you can do the research yourself. Just throw in, high-speed blender or Vitamix-like blender on Google or something along those lines, and it'll pop up with tons of different similarities.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So we're going to use it today. We're going to make the Alfredo sauce first. It only has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. It's really simple. Now I'm taking this recipe from my uncooked book, number 1. I've written 3 uncooked books so far. I have a 4th one coming out fairly soon. And all of 3 of these dips that we're doing today come from the number 1. I've written 3, they're just number 1, number 2, and number 3. They each have 40 recipes, totally different from one another each. And then they also have lovely pictures in the back so that you can match what it looks like with what you're making.
Good.
And we're going to be making the Alfredo sauce. They also, I doubt you can see, have little symbols on them. So you can say, oh, I need a blender for this one. Oh, I need a dehydrator for this recipe. Oh, I need a, try to make it easier for you. So we're going to start with some raw cashews. We're going to do a cup of raw cashews. Can you hand me the bag from Trader Joe's? All right. I get my raw cashews from Trader Joe's. It's the cheapest place in the valley to go to get them. I used to go to Sprouts and wait for them to go on sale in the bulk bins, but they don't always come on sale. They're not always that cheap, so Trader Joe's always has a nice low price.
And these look better.
Yeah. They're not the pieces and all crumbled.
Well, and just coloration, I noticed, look better.
So we got some raw cashews, unsalted, unroasted raw cashews. We're going to do about a cup. I have a measurement on here. It's also kind of nice.
Okay.
So we're going to do a cup of raw cashews. We're also going to do 2 tablespoons of basil. Now, I like to use fresh basil. Whenever I smell basil, I think of this dish because this makes this the dish. So we're going to do 2 leaves, depending on the size. These are kind of small, so I'm going to do 3. Can you get me a cup of water, please?
I certainly can.
Thank you. So we have, okay, maybe 4. We have basil. We're going to do some salt and pepper. I will discuss salt at the next dip because there is lots to be said. So here's some pepper. The fun thing about buying your spices in grinders are twofold. One, you don't have to worry about preservatives because they usually put preservatives in them to keep it from caking when it's already ground. And 2, you always use less than you think you are because it's very hard to grind into a tablespoon. So you have to simply eyeball it, which means no one ever puts enough in. So you keep your spices on the minimum versus overdoing it. That way when you make it and you go, oh, it needs more pepper, you can grind more in, harder to take out.
Yes, exactly.
And then we got some salt, also in a grinder. Yes, yes, it is pink salt. I will talk about it. Hold your horses.
I love the pink salt.
I do too. All right, so we have a teaspoon of sea salt and a teaspoon of pepper. So just to review, we've got a cup of raw cashews. We've got 2 to 4 basil leaves, depending on the size of them. You have a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, and we're going to do, technically my mantra is enough water to cover your nuts. I know that sounds infantile, but it works because it depends on how absorbent the nuts or seeds that you're using are. If they're more absorbent, you need less. So while the recipe calls for 3/4 cup of water.
Oh, you don't just automatically put in that?
You're going to want to start, and then if you need more to get it moving, you add more, which is usually what I like to do.
Okay,
so
that's a good point.
We're going to start on low.